So I hope that you've had an amazing, healthy week. Right from Wednesday, it's another Wednesday, the second week of the third month of 2025. It's such a blessing to be here. It's such a blessing to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do value your time greatly. Karibu sana. This is MBCI TV ambapo tunabadilisha maisha by the grace of God. My name is Rachel Kahugu. Very blessed, happy to be here, and I can't wait to see what is ahead of us for this amazing show. This is Afya Clinic, where we talk about everything health, and I will be your host today, Rachel Kahugu, and today we'll be talking about two very major important issues. All right, so that tells you today we'll be having two guests on set, and I'll be introducing our first guest in a very short while. First of all is to welcome you very much and to let you know that we're very excited to have you here. We'd want to know how your week has been. Tuongeleshe, our numbers are very open. That is 0721 105 105 on WhatsApp, 23814, our SMS code, which is absolutely free of charge. Of course, you can talk to us on our social media pages. That is MBCI TV Facebook page. On the comment section, we are live. Utapata pale live video ukituambia on the comment section where you have been, how you have been, where you're watching us from, tutapata ujumbe wako. And of course on YouTube, that is MBCI TV official YouTube page, and on all social media pages ukienda pale utafute Rachel Kahugu utanipata, and I'll be able to get your feedback. I'll be able to, you know, just know what you have to tell us today. Karibu sana. Officially we say that this is hope. We are a family, and we can't wait to hear from you. Also, I'd really want to know, what are you thanking God for? It's been almost, we're getting to, today is on the 12th. That means we're getting to the middle of this month of March. So I'd want to know, so far, what are you thanking God for? All right, so tuongeleshe, and then I'll be getting back to you. Now, let me introduce the topic that we're talking about today. Today we are talking about food poisoning. And food poisoning is a very critical topic to talk about, because you've had people saying, hey, nimekuwa na food poisoning, and people, there's a huge confusion. Yeah, food poisoning, in terms of food poisoning, is it bad food? What is food poisoning exactly? Yeah. So if you have any question regarding the same, or you've ever been there where you went and you were treated for food poisoning, today is when we talk about all that. All right, so talk to us, and then we'll be getting back to you. If you have any question, please ask. We'll be getting back to you. And of course, that tells you I am not handling this topic alone. I'm here with a nutritionist who's not very new here. Amekuwa hapa mara nyingi sana. It's been a minute. Atatuambia how he has been. We're here with John Njoroge. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How have you been?
Faring on well.
Amazing.
No, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But I thank God.
Should be last year.
Yeah, last year.
Hey.
But I thank God for this far.
Yeah.
At least for the past several months, I've been doing okay.
Amazing.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Asante.
So that we can be able to share more about food poisoning.
Yeah.
And I believe that the society, like all of us, in one way or another, we are affected.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the high class, low class, in one way or another, we get to face these issues to do with food poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Now, you know, for allowing us to have this conversation with you, so that people would also understand what food poisoning is. Yeah, but before we get there, maybe you just introduce yourself for the new members of our family who maybe have not seen you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is John Njoroge. I'm a clinical nutritionist working in the Division of Health, Nakuru County. And I really appreciate this wonderful opportunity. To all those who don't know me, to those who know me, feel very much welcome and actively participate in this our discussion. I know it's an interactive session whereby we are going to learn different things more about food poisoning, so that you can be able at least to make wise decisions concerning the food that we take in a safer way. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Now let's start from the very beginning. Okay. What is food poisoning?
Yes, food poisoning, we can say that it can be an infection or foodborne illnesses that brings about infection or due to consumption of food or drinks which may be contaminated by maybe virus. We also have some parasites. We also have some toxins or any other contaminant that contaminate that food, so that after eating that food, you get now to have the side effects.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, when you talk about food poisoning, most of the time, people would think it's an intentional thing. You know, like niko na food poisoning, nani aliserve hiyo chakula, ama nani alipika hiyo chakula, you know. So we don't understand what is the process like, what would cause food poisoning, how does that happen?
Okay. Okay, we can say that cause some of the causes of food poisoning, maybe we have consumption of food that has been contaminated, and maybe it can be a hygiene issue. Maybe a large population, it can be because of hygiene issues, whereby, for example, food from the market. When you buy food from the market, you take your time to clean that food. You know, so many people have touched that food, and therefore, what do you expect? If you are not going to observe hygiene, in that process you may consume food which has bacteria, virus, and different types of toxins. Now that one is for hygiene. Another one can be maybe just contaminated food. For hygiene it's okay, but for contamination it can be like from where it is stored. You know, that process from the farmer, like from the farm to the table. That process that food has to go through. So in that process we have so many handlers. From the farmer, the seller, the vendors, and all that, and you. So that process.
Okay.
Something else can be maybe undercooking or overcooking.
Okay.
There are some foods, depending on the type of food, if you can take them, if they are not well cooked, they can result into food poisoning. Okay,
that's interesting.
Because we have, as a nutritionist, different types of food take different types of, we cannot cook food at the same time. So for those who like cooking food just in a short period of time, want it to be ready, maybe it can be under, especially the eggs and all that. So
tell us about it. When eggs are undercooked, would it cause food poisoning?
You know, eggs are the large, I think, quite a large percentage of people who have food poisoning is because of eggs.
Oh, really?
Because they are undercooked.
Okay.
And they can transfer this bacteria, we call it Salmonella typhi. So it really affects many people.
Okay.
So the method of cooking again is at question. You need to look at that.
Okay.
So different method of preparation of food can result into food poisoning.
Okay.
Also the containers.
Maybe before we go to the containers, let's talk about the overcooking part. You know, this cooking part is very critical to most of the people, because they also understand that different people would love to, you know, make their eggs and their food differently. Maybe it's just important for all of us to understand what that looks like. We've talked about undercooking and we've given an example of eggs.
Okay.
Let's talk about overcooking. Would overcook food, Aji? Like, what does that look like?
Now, when it comes to overcooking, when you overcook some food, there is the nutritional value decreases.
Okay.
Because these vitamins and minerals, they are heat sensitive. So after overcooking, the type of environment or the temperature that you're going to set, you know, the dangerous temperature is between 5 degrees to around 67 degrees. So most of the people cook food and then it's either stored within that temperature. If you really need to eat that food, you advise you eat it immediately.
Okay.
So when some food has been overcooked and you expose it to room temperature for quite a long time, more than 2 hours, chances are, because of the structure, the food structure has been interfered because of overcooking, that one increases a chances for bacterial growth.
Okay.
Because there is warmth, there is presence of maybe sugars, there is presence of moisture. All this, they favor the bacteria to like replicate in a faster way.
Okay.
Have you ever realized or wondered why in events, big events, maybe like you hear people saying, you know, I went for that event, then after that I had a running stomach. The reason is that the food was brought maybe earlier, was cooked earlier, and then it was kept within a temperature that is in between 5 degrees to 67 for more than 3 hours, because people have to wait or finish other activities so that they can go to it. And that one is a good environment for bacteria to thrive on.
Okay.
But and therefore it causes a lot of food poisoning, and it can happen in gathering, large events and all that.
Okay.
But if you need to store food, you need to store food like immediately. Maybe you have cooked a lot of food, you need to store some in the fridge. You need to do it like immediately.
Tutakani kungoja hata ipoe.
Like hapana. Unahitaji cool within the first 2 hours. You need to have like
packed and stored.
Especially that one for freezing, for fridge and all that. You need to do it immediately.
Okay.
You don't want to create an environment whereby it's going to favor bacterial growth. Bacterial growth, that one again is going to lead to like food poisoning.
Okay.
And if you want to cook something, we advocate for high temperatures. Like milk, milk can go easily, can go stale easily.
Yeah.
For example, if you do not bring to boil milk to temperatures above 70 degrees Celsius, chances are it can really go stale in a faster way. And that one again can lead to a lot of food poisoning. So that's why for milk to be able to stay for quite a long time, they have to do the ultra heat treatment. They write there UHT because it has been boiled for high temperatures for some time.
Okay.
That one helps in keeping the shelf life. But most of us, we don't go, maybe a large population, they buy milk that maybe has been milked, they need to boil it. And then after boiling it, they keep it there open and for more hours. Then it goes stale easily and it can lead to food poisoning.
Okay, okay. So it's the simple things we do at home that would cause food poisoning. And maybe just to give an example is that explains why we'd cook food and eat immediately, someone else eats later, and then they're complaining about food poisoning.
Food poisoning,
And we start wondering what happened in between. Makes sense.
Have you ever bought some food maybe in a supermarket? I once did. You buy some food, they get to heat it for you so that you can be able to partake, but you don't know when it was cooked.
Yeah.
And then if you take time, like maybe you are traveling, you go in a supermarket, you want to travel while eating and all that, but you take time to eating that food. That again, you don't know the time that food was kept in the fridge, it hosted some parasites, some bacteria and all that. Then after it has been warmed, then it creates another good environment for those bacteria to replicate. And they replicate in a very fast.
Okay.
So it means infection rates can be very high.
All right.
So when you heat something, previously cooked food, you need to eat it immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, don't keep it for lengthy time.
For a long time. So. All right, let's talk about the containers you had mentioned.
Okay. The containers, it's basically about hygiene. For example, I remember in high school, we had those plates whereby if you do not, like if you took a meal that is fatty, has a lot of fat in the previous meals, and thereafter you need to take another meal, you can see that in that plate there is a shiny layer. A shiny layer. And even at home, especially those who are using plastics. Plastics, they are fat. We say they are lipophilic. Lipophilic meaning that fat can attach to plastic materials easily as compared to maybe steel and all that. So you find that if you do not wash it thoroughly, and again you put fresh food, the fresh food is going to now melt, like absorb the previous fat that was not washed to clean. So you find that there is a chance of transmission of bacteria that maybe has been hosted by the fat. And thereafter it brings about infection. Okay. And even maybe water, contamination of water, because of maybe the transmission lines and all that. That one again can lead to food poisoning.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, we'll be getting to questions. I see we already having questions as a food poisoning that are coming in. So if you have any question in regards to food poisoning, I just love to repeat our numbers. Nimona, the some of us who are asking. Our numbers are very open. That is 0721105105 on WhatsApp, 23814, our SMS code, which is absolutely free. You can text us on WhatsApp or on our SMS code, as I've told you, but also we are live on MBCI TV Facebook page and MBCI TV official YouTube page. You get a pale on the comment section, we'll be able to get your feedback. Sawa sawa? We have 40 minutes to go, so that is good time. We'll be able to answer your questions as long as ukituma swali. Pia be sure to tell us who you are and where you are watching us from, or unatuwatch na kina nani. That would be very important as well. Now, I'd love for us to also talk about some of the symptoms of food poisoning. How would you know that, this is food poisoning and, not any other stomach issue?
And not any other stomach issue. Now, food poisoning can have signs, common signs that is common to many sicknesses and diseases. Because remember, food poisoning can result from maybe bacterial infection, viral infection, maybe toxins maybe from the farm. You understand all these foods, we have, apparently we have this technology of agronutrition, and so many chemicals are being used to produce these products. And therefore, if you do not wash the food maybe from the farm thoroughly, you need to like rinse them thoroughly. We also have some people who use some detergents, mild detergents, to clean, so that because you understand that we live in a competitive environment, and we have some people who may sell food that has been sprayed, like tomatoes. People can spray those chemicals, and they need to take some time so that they can go to the market. But how sure are you? And many people don't know. There was a research that was done by Public Health, and they realized that so many foods reach the market without like having, if you spray some drugs, some chemicals, you need to give them some time so that they can be washed away. But if you don't, if the farmers don't do that, then it means it is now the buyer, it is now you and me who are going to be affected by those toxins. And therefore we need to wash, we need to ensure that we have that food hygiene.
Okay. You've mentioned something, maybe sorry to cut you short, that there are people who use some mild detergents to wash the vegetables and all that. Is that advisable? Yeah,
it's advisable. You can visit the different types of supermarkets that we have. We have mild detergents. They are not toxic, but they just help to do away with the chemicals that may have maybe landed in that food in the process.
Okay. Okay, very interesting. Sawa. Now you say some of the symptoms of food poisoning.
So we have mild symptoms. Mild symptoms, it can be nausea. You can feel like you feel like puking. You also have vomiting. You also have diarrhea. You also have cramps. Cramps, and also mild fever. Mild fever. Those are minor signs. We also have severe signs like high fever, temperatures above 30 degrees, 25. Then that means you'll need to go to the hospital. We also have dehydration. Dehydration again can be a severe sign of food poisoning. We also have bloody stools. When you are having diarrhea, you can have a normal diarrhea. Okay, we don't have like a normal diarrhea. Diarrhea is a defense mechanism for the body when you consume something that affects your body. Diarrhea, it's a defense mechanism whereby the body tries to flush out the toxins, the chemicals. People try to prevent that diarrhea because it may drain water from your body and other important nutrients, but at the same time it's a defense mechanism for the body getting rid of the toxins or the chemicals or the thing that your body cannot be able to digest. So when you have a diarrhea that has blood, whereby when you look at the stool, it is dark in color, it has blood, then it means you may have food poisoning. Poisoning. And therefore you need to go for a medical review so that can be treated in the correct way. So ukiona hata kama ni hizo mild, you need to go get checked. But for mild, some can be treated at home. You can. There is a diet. There is a brat diet. I think we're going to get to the slide,
the chart.
So that you can be able to see that.
All right, we'll be getting there. Maybe because I also know we need to check some of the mythbusters. We'd love to know how soon after eating do you start experiencing or do you start to see the symptoms? Is it immediately? Because I know there are people who eat and then the next day are like, ni kama nile chakula nilikula jana. And I'm like, after 24 hours, surely. You know.
Okay, for bacterial infection, it happens between 6 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So if you consume food that has a strain of bacteria, like salmonella, the one that we said you get it from eggs.
Yeah.
E. coli, you can also get it from different types of foods. That one takes around 6 hours to 48 hours.
Okay.
We also have viruses. Viruses, remember COVID-19? It's a form of virus.
Yeah.
And the signs happen within 12 to 48 hours. So that one, again, if you experience that, can be like you took something like in the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
And therefore the signs start showing up. We also have toxins. If you consume toxins, toxins may be also as a result of some presence of bacteria like Staphylococcus. That one may happen within 30 minutes to 6 hours. That one happens faster. Okay. Because toxins, they can get into the systems and really trigger signs in a faster way. Okay. Because as you understand, we have the oral fecal route between the mouth and the anus. Yeah. We have a high population, like the number of bacteria that we have between the oral in the oral fecal route. They are more than the cells that make a human body. Okay, that's huge. Yeah. There are billions of cells between your mouth and the anus. Yeah. So those bacteria, they're the ones that dictate whether we have an onset of an infection or not. Yeah. We have good bacteria, we also have bad bacteria. The good bacteria, we call them commensals. Commensals meaning they, like when you take food, it undergoes fermentation. That fermentation process is as a result of the bacteria that is present in the stomach. Okay. And therefore, when that food ferments, it becomes easier for your food, for the stomach to be able to digest that food. Okay. And therefore, when you have a consumption of food that has a bad bacteria, the bad bacteria fights with the good bacteria in the stomach, and the result, the end products of those bad bacteria, they are toxins. Some of them, they like flow into the bloodstream, and then we have issues to do with infections. You hear somebody has a sepsis and all that, because the bad bacteria has now entered into the GIT, therefore bringing about infections. Okay. So maybe parasitic infection, it can take days or weeks, like worms. People need to deworm for some time. Yeah.
We'll be talking about the deworming because that's also very important. That's something that people mostly don't love to talk about. So we'll be mentioning that as we continue. Maybe we just get to know, do we have the chart ready, so that we'd also just get an explanation to that to understand what food poisoning looks like and how that occurs. We'll be getting that in a very short while. For now, let's get the mythbusters so that we'll be getting to look at some of the myths that surround food poisoning and, to clear the air. So, pia kama unajua something about food poisoning and you think it would be a myth, pia tuambie, we'd be able to look at that. So, the first mythbuster is that you can kill all bacteria by cooking food well. Is that true or it's a myth? You can kill all bacteria by cooking food well, so that well-cooked food won't affect you at any point.
Okay, that statement, when you said you cooking food well, how well is well?
Oh yeah, because how well is well?
For some people, if you cook a food maybe for 10 minutes, okay with them. Yeah. Others, they need to take some time cooking. We live in a generation, a fast food. We live in a fast generation. Yeah. We want everything to happen in a very fast way. Even cooking, we want things that can cook. We don't want take time cooking food that. If you ask a Gen Z kama shaipika githeri, you'll be surprised. They don't cook. They don't want things that take a lot of time. They just want fast foods. Yeah. Things that do cook faster. So and therefore, that statement you can critique it. There is a positive part of it. Yes, it is true. You may kill some bacteria, but we have some bacteria which are heat sensitive. Okay. And therefore, like if you cook food for maybe you boil milk at around 60 degrees Celsius, and we said that it needs to be boiled around above 70 degrees Celsius for some time. You know, when most people boil milk at home, wanangoja tu ikipanda tu hivi kidogo washaeka chini. But you'll need to allow it to boil, irudi chini, isime kidogo, so that at least you can give time to do away with the bacteria that can bring about infection.
Okay, I hear you. Let's go to the second myth, Pastor. Is that food poisoning only comes from restaurants and not home-cooked meals?
That is a myth.
Yeah.
Because you also have food poisoning happening at home. Yeah, people like when you visit when you visit some people, if you know
talked about hygiene.
Yeah, you know, kitchens are supposed to be very clean.
Yeah.
But some people don't like visitors entering the kitchen because they'll be like shocked.
Yeah.
You can unazapata na mende zikipita hapo.
Yeah.
And that one is a sign of poor hygiene.
Yeah.
So, and even the cooking area, where do you place like bought some cabbages and all that, where do your cooking area, how is it, how clean is it? And therefore that one can be a source of infection or food poisoning. Okay. So that one, I don't agree with it. Okay.
So that's a myth. All right. The third one is that mayonnaise is a common cause of food poisoning.
Mayonnaise, main product, the main content there, maybe it's eggs. The eggs, and we say that eggs can be a good source of a good, you know, eggs have all the nutrients. Yeah. And therefore they can attract quite a large number of bacteria. Some of them can be able to bring about infection. But if they are stored properly, you know, mayonnaise and other processed food, we have those instructions, the manufacturer's instructions that need to be observed. If you do not observe, then it means if exposed to unfavorable temperatures, they can attract bacterial growth, which can bring about infection. Not to say that mayonnaise is bad, is passing a lot of poisons or bacterial infections to people, but the way you handle it, the hygiene of the handler, and also the environment can result into maybe that product. You know, like apart from mayonnaise, we have so many types of food that we get to buy in the market, whether it is meat, whether it's fish and all that. If you do not handle it with care, if you do not handle it with proper hygiene, then you can favor growth of bacteria that is going to consequently affect your health.
Okay, I hear you. All right, so mayonnaise is not the major, but you know, as you said, it's very important for us to follow the instructions ambazo tumepewa pale. And the last one is that only meat and dairy cause food poisoning.
Only meat and no, even greens, they can lead to food poisoning. I've seen people who are vegetarians, but they still get food poisoning. You can see somebody taking a salad, but if that salad was not prepared in a hygienic way, then you're going to contract some infection from that food. So not only meat and eggs, not meat and dairy. It's not only them. The challenge there, or when we look at the different sources of food infections, we have so many types of food. Different types of food. So when you say you focus on that, okay, probably when an infection results from an animal source food, like an egg or meat, it may be affecting many people in a way or in a faster way. But also we can agree that also other types of food can be a source of infection. You remember in high school, like, or in primary, sometimes I see pupils after they get to leave the school, kuna wale mama wanauza maembe hapo kwa gate. But naangalia hapo penye wananawa mkono wakiosha ile maji ni chafu. A mango can be safe for consumption because it has a thick covering, so that one prevents bacterial infestation. And therefore, if it is washed thoroughly and clean, that can be safe. But if it is not washed clean, then it can be a source of infection. Okay, so it's good to be very careful and tuangalie hygiene. Hygiene is very much important because it is what is affecting so many people, whether in big hotels, whether in small hotels. Because have you ever wondered why people prefer where people, you know, when you go to a food joint, people prefer where people are many.
Yes.
Because they believe that, you know, in this small hotel, you know, food
It's
in Asia,
moving.
it's fast moving,
Yeah.
and therefore chances of you getting a leftover food are very low. But when you go to sometimes where people don't like visiting, you are very sure you're going to eat some food that was cooked sometimes back.
Food flani are juicy, you know, a mixture.
To fresh.
Very important.
So,
okay. Now, who are the people who are mostly, you know, vulnerable to getting food poisoning? Do you have a certain group? Maybe you'd say the kids or nikila mtu. As long as you eat food that is not hygienic, you are utapata to food poisoning. Okay,
most of us, like all of us, we can be able to contract these food poisoning infections.
Okay.
And therefore, but we have the most vulnerable, like the infants and young children. You know, they are still growing.
Yeah.
They are still undergoing growth and development.
Yeah.
And therefore, it means they may have immature immune system. So if they have immature immune system, then it means they'll need to like be protected, like the way we advocate. Maybe after maybe if you have a child below 2 years, or even an infant that is below 1 year, vyombo hizo utensils za mtoto zinaekangwa kando na za watu wakubwa. Why? Because of that food
poisoning
or chances of transmission of infections. So you need to protect the immune system. They are still developing. We also have pregnant women. You know, as long as you are pregnant, you can be considered as an unstable. Because there is some hormonal changes, there is physiological changes happening in your body. We also have some demands increasing. And therefore it means we may ensure that as a pregnant mother, you have to be very careful what you are eating. Because any form of infection can be a source of, maybe poison, like bacterial infection, viral infection, parasitic infection that may result into miscarriage. To some people, some infection may result into miscarriage, and all that is because of the type of food you ate that introduces a bad bacteria into your system. We also have elderly women and men, not only women, elderly people, because as you grow old, we have what we call cell atrophy, cell dies. The rate at which cells are being regenerated reduces as compared to as a young person. You know, as a young person, you are young, you are energetic and all that, cells replicate every day. But when you grow old, it means the rate of cell replication reduces, and therefore chances of you contracting an infection are very high, because the immune system is low, the defense mechanism is subsiding, and therefore again when you grow old, you don't know, when people grow old, they start choosing food. You don't want to take this, you know, I don't like this, I don't like that, so you start being choosy. And that one disadvantage your body, because some nutrients you're not going to get them. We also have immunocompromised individuals. Maybe somebody has a terminal disease, like HIV and AIDS, some have some cancer, or a condition that has really affected their immune system, and therefore the body defense mechanism has been interfered, has been compromised, and therefore such people can be able to be most vulnerable.
Okay, I hear you. Now we'll be looking at the slides so that we get to understand more about food poisoning, but if you have any questions, we'll be getting to answer them in the next few minutes. All right, now let's take a look at the slides so that you can also just get to understand more about food poisoning. Now you can take us through.
It is, you can say that food poisoning is also known as foodborne illness, and it's defined as any illness caused by the consumption of food that is contaminated with pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, and toxins. All right,
I see. So it's good that you've been able to understand what food poisoning is. So even as you ask the questions, we get to, you know, answer them very well.
Yeah, so those are some of the examples. You also have E. coli outbreak in Kenya. Yeah, because you have heard of issues, people having cholera.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that, it means that you consumed food with feces, you know, feces. That, the main source is the feces.
Yeah.
Maybe you do not observe hygienic measures, maybe from the toilet, from handling a baby, maybe changing the diaper, handling money. Because money is a root cause of many infections, maybe handling public utility. That one again can be a source of infection, and many other sources.
All right. I see. I see we have someone who's asking a very intriguing question here about heating food using microwave. And hi Rachel, hi, kindly ask for me if there's any bad repulsion of using microwave.
Okay, if there is something people fear is death, and one of the causes of death, people say it's cancer, and there has been a real issue in the society concerning using a microwave, and how it may interfere with the food structure. Now there are some who believe that if you use a microwave, then you are going to like predispose your body into getting cancer, different types of cancer, because we have some different history. We have different narratives in the internet, and we live in a tech age where people Google everything, and therefore she's I don't know, she's asking about whether it's okay using a microwave to heat.
What are the dangers?
What are the dangers?
Change the food? Would it maybe cause food poisoning at any point? Or what are the dangers?
A microwave has been designed just to heat food, or even some use a microwave to cook and all that. Provided you are using you're warming your food to the right temperature, and maybe consuming it immediately, or using the microwave using the right materials, so that you can be able to heat your food. I don't think there is any problem. But if you believe that using a microwave is going to affect your health, there is in psychology we say that what you believe has a 30% chance of affecting your outcome. For example, there are some people who believe that for microwave, that if you heat it, any form of food you want to take it, then that one is going to contribute 30% of them getting that infection. Or when somebody ni mgonjwa anaaminingi tu, if I go to that facility, if I go to see so and so, that one heals you 30% just by you believing that mimi nikishughulikiwa na huyu nitakuwa sawa. Hiyo inasaidia kuheal 30% of the infection. So beliefs are there, belief systems are there, and maybe probably wakona history from other people and experience from other people, but that one scientifically it's not that proven. It is not clear.
All right. Sawa. No, let's,
because we use it. Most people use it. We use microwaves at our homes. So
for the longest time.
So, but still okay.
Sawa. What are some of the first aid ways for food poisoning? Mtu ikija kutoka na food poisoning, what are you supposed to do immediately?
You need to seek medical. We said that we have severe symptoms like vomiting, profuse vomiting, because you can vomit just and then it subsides. Profuse vomiting, diarrhea. When I say diarrhea, it is more than 3 loose stools. If you diarrhea once, that is not a diarrhea, that's a loose stool. But if you have more than 3 loose stools within 24 hours, that is diarrhea. So you will need to go to seek medical attention. We also have bloody stool. That one again can really tell us that we have an ulceration in the digestive system that is going to, can be a root, it can be an entry point of bacterial infection or virus into the system or into the blood. So that one again, you'll need to go to see a doctor. We also have high fevers we said that above 38 degrees, fevers above 38 degrees 38 degrees 0.5, you will need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to assume things, so that you can get to be reviewed, can be run through some tests, stool tests, blood tests, so that they can be able to ascertain the cause of that infection.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Also severe dehydration.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go to hospital.
Yeah, go get
checked.
Do not, many of us, when we get sick, find that there is a tendency of people trying to look at the media.
Yeah.
Naenda tu kwa
Dr. Google.
Dr. Google. But again, in case you get some complication, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
So it is easier for you to go to a health facility, so that at least you can be able to be done to some lab works, and at least to be treated properly. And in case of anything, you are still in the facility, in the hospital, they can be able to take care of that. Yeah.
Perfect. Now there's a very intriguing question here, and you've mentioned about beliefs. This is one of the beliefs that I have myself, so we're gonna answer it. Annalisa, how long can cut onions be exposed before cooking?
Cut onions?
Yes. Anaitwa Eric kutoka Kakamega. So the cut onions.
Onions?
Yes, the cut onions.
What I know,
zinatakana kuwa exposed for how long before cooking?
What I know, they should not be exposed for more hours. You see, like the way mtu anasema hii kitunguu nilinunua ni kubwa, you cut it into 2 pieces, unasema I'll cook it later.
Yeah.
That one is very dangerous.
Why?
Because it attracts bacterial infection. It may host some viruses and bacteria.
Okay.
And therefore we prefer, if you cut an onion, just cook it on, so that it may not be a channel.
Okay.
For most vegetables, you need to, like after you have cut them, just cook them.
Yeah.
So that you do not give the bacteria an ample environment for them to regenerate.
All right. Now, after you've cut them and maybe you prepare it to cook food, is there any danger of cutting and then exposing?
Yeah, there is danger, because they are very nutritious. Bacteria, they don't go where food is not. If you see any food that does not go stale, then it means the nutritional value is cheap. Any food in inaribika haraka, like white meat and all that, it means that it is very nutritious.
Okay.
So for those greens, also you need to do what? You need to cook them maybe within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So that at least you reduce the chances of any form of infection.
Okay. I see there's someone who's asking, acidity, and food poisoning. Are they ziko same at any point? Are they related in any way? Acidity and food poisoning. Kwa sababu we have Edith who's asking, anasema amesumbuliwa na acidity for 4 years. So they'd love to know, one, are they related in any way? And if they are, what is she supposed to do?
Okay. Now, acidity. Edith saying that she has been affected for 4 years. So, I don't know whether she has been done to some tests in the health facility, but she said that she has been affected for 4 years.
Yeah.
That one, we have a test that is run in facilities, the H. pylori test.
Yeah.
And this is a form of bacteria. And this bacteria may interfere with the acidity that is in the digestive system. But for her to be able to confirm that it is acidity, there must be some tests to confirm the same. And also, concerning food, we have some food that may trigger hyperacidity. We have some food which may help to minimize acidity.
Yeah.
We have neutral foods. Neutral foods are the type of food that when you take them in the mouth, they seem to be neutral. Have you ever wondered where this wisdom that our parents got when you get diarrhea or a stomach infection, they give you porridge, they give you a bread,
by the way,
buffalo.
Yeah.
According to research, they think that because it is neutral in nature, it has the capability to absorb the acidity. So
that's interesting.
And even in infection, food infection. We also have issues to do with the brat diet. We're going to see it.
Yeah.
Whereby we have bananas, we have rice, we have apple cider, we have bread. They seem to be neutral. They tend to counter the effect, the side effect of food poisoning.
Okay.
Caused by maybe bacterial infection, parasitic infection, or any other viral infection.
Okay.
So it depends the type of food that she wants. She needs to see a nutritionist so that they can be able to sit down and discuss which type of food does she take, and therefore results into a hyperacidity.
Okay.
If it is an issue to do with the overproduction of acid, because the stomach can be able to, you know, some of the causes of hyperacidity, we have increased use of painkillers. People nowadays have a tendency of going over the counter to buy painkillers for themselves. These painkillers, they interfere with the lining of the stomach. They may form they may interfere with the structure lining of the stomach, and therefore triggering constant production of acid.
Okay.
Number 2, overconsumption of caffeine, caffeinated drinks, tea, coffee, soda, and all that. You know, caffeine stimulates the body, and then it increases the overproduction of acidity.
Okay.
And therefore it affects the stomach because there is nothing to digest. So that again will be a challenge.
Yeah. Hapo watu wa coffee mnaongeleshwa directly. All right?
You also have stress. Any form of stress. It triggers the body, like the body requires a lot of energy so that it can be able to produce. It requires a lot of energy to work. And therefore, any form of stress, introduction of any form of stress in the body triggers the digestive system to try to outsource energy. So what happens? It stimulates the production of acid in the stomach so that food can be digested and nutrients can be remitted into the systems.
Okay.
So you have different causes of hyperacidity, and when she sits, the nutrition can be able to discuss and come up with a plan.
All right. Asante sana. We have Anne Gichani anasema, good message from Daktari. You're saying you're learning a lot. Asante sana. We're having messages that are coming in, but I see we've answered most of them, either directly or indirectly. Because of time, we'd be getting our numbers from Daktari so that you'd be able to, you know, if you have any questions or any follow-up questions you'd want to ask, you'd be able to do that. But maybe before you give your numbers and, you know, your location, where people would get you if they want to come get treated or advised on what to eat, what would be your parting shots on the whole discussion that you've had?
We, as nutritionists, we normally say that let thy food be thy medicine. And when you allow your food to be your medicine, it means that number 1, food can be used to be able to prevent different types of infections. Like I said, the brat diet, whereby we have bread, banana, we have rice, we have apple cider or apples. You know, they say take an apple a day, you can do away
with the doctor.
With the doctor. There is some nutritional information about that. So when you allow your food to be your medicine, then it means that you're going to counter the side effects of the drugs that people take. You know, we live in a day and age where people take a lot of medicines, and therefore if you take your time and try to cook that food well, try to cook different types of variety, to observe variety, so that you can be able to get a balanced diet, a better diet. That one can be a source of good nutrients for your body, and your body can be able to build up the immune system. Also, you can opt to take like some probiotics, fermented porridge, fermented milk. It is rich in good bacteria. So the good bacteria, when introduced in the body, it helps to colonize the digestive system. So like for pregnant mother, breastfeeding mothers, or those people who have issues to do with the flatulency, fura tumbo sayote and all that, we always encourage them to look for fermented milk that is rich in probiotics, so that it can help introduce the good bacteria in the system. So if you do that, the good bacteria are going to help you to have or to develop a strong immune system that is going to help your body to fight infection and diseases.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Asante sana. Now, for the people who've had this discussion and they know they're having an issue with their stomachs, or their feeding pattern, they know they have an issue with how they feed and they want to come get checked. Where can they get you? And please share your numbers as well.
Okay, thank you. Apparently, I'm working in the Division of Health, that is in Bahati and also in Nakuru County.
Yeah.
Also get consultations in different health facilities, maybe Joy Ellen, that's where we get to see patients.
Yeah.
So you can get me through this number, 0702 421 221.
All right. Again?
Yeah. 0702 421 221.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's the number on your screens, 0702 421 221. So if you have any question you want to ask, please feel free. Asante sana for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for having this discussion with us.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
It is really a wonderful moment that the society can be able to learn.
And I've loved what you said, that as a nutritionist, your theme is that let thy food be thy medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
so what you eat is your medicine.
Yeah. If you do not allow your food to be your medicine, then you're going to take drugs as a medicine. You have those people who are very timely. Hii ni masaa ya dawa.
Yeah.
Wataki kuchelewa dawa. But eating well, it's a problem.
It's where the problem comes in.
So we need to
please
be very
check on
cautious.
that. Check on that. All right. Once again, asante sana. Thank you for tuning in for this particular segment. We've had a good time, and I know that you have learned. Now, we are just about to take a very short break because it's almost 9 a.m. But after the break, we'll be coming back with Mr. Mulandi. Of course, mnajua nikisema Mr. Mulandi, I'm talking about Goshen Medical College. And today we are talking about you as a form 4 leaver, you who want to, take a course. You would want to do medicine. You'd want to do a medical course, a technical course. Goshen Medical College is the place for you. And because of that, we say that this is a wholesome show where we talk about everything health, and we also talk about what you are supposed to do for your well-being. All right, so we'll be talking about that. Mr. Mulandi will be joining us in a very short while, but for now we'll be taking a very short break, and then we'll be getting some music for you to digest what you've just said and for you to get ready for our next conversation. Kwa hivyo siende mbali, we are not yet done. We'll be here up to 10 a.m. Just to remind you, this is Afya Clinic right here on MBCI TV, and my name is Rachel Kahogo. For that, we'll be taking a very short break. Once again, thank you so much for your time.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
The dance of shadows and light, lies the heart of Kenya's resilience. Amidst the challenges of the night, where innovation meets necessity and education refuses to be dimmed, where connection thrives in the absence of power. Embrace the power of the sun with StarTime's solar range of solutions and empower your journey towards a brighter tomorrow. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.